Be grateful for the things that you did not know you had to pay for before, like my auntie says, you became a tudor. I'm not trying to be funny and them, like, could you imagine having to drop some racks on a washing machine? Like, who wants to buy a washing machine? Who wants to buy a dryer? You know what I'm saying? But those are like adult things that you do because they're a necessity and they're part of life. Oh, and don't get me started on rent, okay? Washing powder, dish detergent, toilet paper, water, basic necessities that your parents took care of your whole entire life. It's like you going grocery shopping and you like, oh, I need a little bit of this, I need a little bit of that. Next thing you know, all these little things you need, then added up.
Baby, what is this?
Be grateful. Even
Socks.
Be grateful that your parents, if your parents still do buy you socks or whoever, whatever, just be grateful for the things that do go unnoticed, because when you do become a adult, whatever you want to call it, you gonna have to pay for them things. Like, hey, my name is orginal. I'm 19 years old, and these are 20 things I learned before I turned 20. Set your boundaries. The stuff that he only doing because you allowing him to. Set your boundaries, sis. He only texting you at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. because you're responding. He only wants to see you at nighttime because you allow him to. He don't do nothing special for you because you ain't required him to do nothing special for you. I cannot stress this enough. Set your boundaries, because people will test you. They'll test you day and night. One, being in the radio industry, I'ma just keep it hot. People will push you and they will see how far they can do something. They will literally see how far they can take advantage of you. And that's just a shame. And that's not just the radio industry. That applies to all concepts. And me being who I was, like, I was new, I was fresh. And I ain't gonna lie, like, I was nervous. Like, I was scared to speak up. Like, I just didn't really, this is what sucks the most. You would think that people who are older than you, or that people who you would respect, will understand specific boundaries. But it don't matter what age you are. If you don't make it clear, people will not understand certain things. You just have to let it be known. Like, if you just have to let it be known. And it's just something, like, you just gotta do it. Period. Ain't no other way around it. Like, you could pray to God and ask him how to respectfully say it, and he will give you wisdom. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. Especially when you ask God for maturity and strength. God's strength doesn't come from you being strong. It comes from your weaknesses. And boy, your weaknesses can break you down. I remember when I first started my internship at the radio station, everything was all cool, dandy. I would get dropped off in the morning, I would get picked up. And then after that, my mom, she stopped wanting to drop and pick me up. My auntie stopped wanting to drop and pick me up. Didn't nobody want to come back and forth. So I'm just like, okay, like, what now? You know what I'm saying? Like, this job is halfway across town. And one morning, I woke up at 4 a.m. and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna catch the bus, okay? I've never, ever in my life caught the bus. Hello, guys. It's your girl, orginal. I could barely see. The sun is, like, really blinding me. Anyways, today is exciting because I made it to work, at my internship, and home on the bus for the very first time. And eventually, you get tired of catching a bus every single day. And you know, the most irritating part is leaving the house and seeing about at least 2 or 3 cars parked in front of your house, but nobody wanting to drive you. And I'm just like, that's mad irritating. But riding that bus, honestly, it humbled me. Felt as if I was stopping at a different area, at a different part of the world. It's crazy how the same people can live inside the same state but have 2 different lifestyles. I go to MLK in Washington, and this is people's everyday basic life transportation methods: getting up every 2 hours early, getting home late every 2 hours late. I mean, yeah. And the thing about that is they have families, they have jobs, they have bills. It's just so much, and it's definitely a reality shock. Now, before I was even hired, when I was an intern, just me waking up every morning, it just gave me discipline. And like I said, it humbled me. Taking a bus, it humbled me, because I saw people on the bus and I'm thinking like, wow, I'm on the bus to go do an internship at a radio station to help, improve my career and stuff. But I saw nurses on there, construction workers, I saw grandmas, and I'm thinking like, wow, I'm doing this voluntarily. But sometimes for some people, this is their hustle. This is their only way to pay the bills. This is their only way of transportation. So that just kind of made me suck it up and was like, you know what, Ajane, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Because there are people on this bus that where if they miss a day of work, that's affecting their pockets and their whole lifestyle. You're getting on this bus to go learn something. And every time I was on the bus, I just felt closer to God. Like it was just me and God talking. It was just me and him. I fasting and I feel great because I am filled with the Holy Spirit. Ooh, look at my natural hair, boo. Just like, dang. Okay, here come the bus. Let me stay. Okay, no, it's still a stop sign. But for real, my bun be on point, and I just be acting so scared to wear my natural hair. Okay, here. My name is Ajane, and I'm at the bus stop by myself. So I'ma let this beat. My name is Ajane, and I'm at this bus stop. So I said, I'ma let some rhymes drop. Hey, I'm waiting on the bus and it look far away. I'm waiting on God, but I know I need to move. I'm not on my own. He always on the move. He in my lane, trying to catch me faster. I'm moving transportation like a train. Caster, boom, boom, the bus. That humbled me, and eventually I got tired. I just started thinking like, this is pointless. Like, I keep getting on the bus. I already learned a lot. I'm getting tired. I don't want to do this no more. This is exactly what my family told me. They was like, why do you keep going to that internship if they're not hiring you? Why do you keep going if they're not paying you? You're wasting your time. Sometimes I got a different revelation. I realized that the reason I'm homeschooled is because I wasn't meant to catch that school bus and be with all them kids. God has a different bus for me to catch. I'm still catching a bus. I thought that once I was going to be homeschooled, I wasn't going to have to worry about stuff like that. But now that He has opened up my eyes to a new revelation, He has shown me that everybody has their own struggles and their own route to take. And the school bus wasn't my route. But this right here, this is my route, because when I wake up, I look forward to going to this station despite any discouragement that I face. I know in my heart that I love doing this, so I keep doing it, and I just don't give up because God placed something on the inside of me. Like, it's impossible for me to be depressed anymore. God put something on the inside of me. Like, I just can't explain it. Like, I can't lay down anymore. I asked Him to never let me go, and truth behold, it's His Spirit that has me standing at this bus stop. It's His Spirit that's defeating the demonic spirit of laziness, that's defeating discouragement, that's defeating doubt and everything. And y'all, here come my bus right here, because I'm taking a different route in life, and not everyone understands it. But as long as I'm on this bus, I trust God that I will make it to my destination. And here go my bus. If you can see it in that little corner or whatever. I see y'all later. But it all worked out in the end, so that's why you have to trust God, even when things seem pointless. If God is telling you to do something and you think it's pointless, you feel like there's no purpose to it, or you just simply don't want to do it. Remember that you have your plan, but God has his plans for you. And sometimes as humans we think like, oh, how is this going to help me get to the next level? How is this going to work out? How is that going to work out? God's thoughts are not your thoughts. The things that he has made up, sometimes he don't tell us because he knows that we can't even comprehend his plan. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to live with your insecurities. When I was in high school, I was just so insecure. It was just like my self-esteem altogether. I feel like I personally had the confidence, but self-esteem is something that goes deeper within that. So God helped me with that. And it wasn't something that I just woke up and I was like, oh, I have confidence all of a sudden. God literally had to walk me through that. I did prayer and I did fasting, because when you learn to love yourself as much as you think you love other people, it's a whole different life. You know what I'm saying? God specially handcrafted. There was no mistakes when he made you. God handcrafted you specially. I'm telling you, you have to look yourself in the mirror, rebuke those insecurities. Like, Mom, this is my new friend Samantha. And I'll be like, hey Samantha. And then behind closed doors, she'd be like, some people come in your life with curses. And I know they say everyone that comes into your life is either a lesson or a blessing. Well, let me tell you, there are some lessons you really can avoid. Seriously. Watch who you let in your circle. Sometimes you just gotta listen, you know what I'm saying? You gotta protect who has access in your life. Even if they're not a toxic person, some people just do not belong in your life. Everybody can't come. I'm not trying to be funny, but like, I'm not the same person who I was in 9th grade. I'm not the same person who I was in 11th grade. Like, people change, you grow up, and that's okay. You can't convict yourself because you don't want to hang out with somebody who used to be a day one homie. Like, things change, and that's okay. It's self-explanatory. It's so self-explanatory, you can't even talk about it. Because at this point, it's like, I could show you better than I can tell you. You know what I'm saying? But make sure that the boundaries that you set are not retaliation, because sometimes I struggle with that. Sometimes I was like, I'm not doing that. No, simply because of the fact that I didn't want to do it. But that's where God comes into play, because God will help you separate the difference between setting boundaries for what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and doing what you have to do because you need to obey him, because them is two different things. The whoopings that God give you do not compare to a belt. And that's just that. So if you think you're getting away with something, you really not. It's just a matter of time. If you keep sneaking out your house and you think you're getting away with it, it's just a matter of time before you get caught. You keep stealing, it's just a matter of time before you get caught. You keep lying, it's just a matter of time before you get caught. So it really be the grace of God. Like, you know, when you do something bad and then you be like, God, please just let me get away with this one time. God, I promise I won't do nothing. Like, it really do be God's grace. And sometimes it's God's grace that you do get caught so that you don't do it again and end up in a worse situation. Pride is a killer. Be low and God will lift you up high. Even when you're high, be humble, because pride is a killer. God wants to check your heart posture. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not even about the action. God is just wanting to see, like, are you willing to still do what I told you to do, but with a different mindset? Are you still gonna do it with 100%? Because sometimes it's what you do on the lower levels. These set the foundations to your breakthrough. These set the foundations to what's going to come. You know what I'm saying? So just always have a good attitude about everything. And plus, you get a lot more things in life when you have a good attitude. You know what I'm saying? People, they gravitate towards you more. You could be doing the worst job in the world, but if you have a good attitude, time will go by fast. If you're gonna do something, you might as well do it happy, because if you're gonna do it regardless, it takes more energy to be mad about something than it does to be happy. It's just good to have a good attitude. So one day, I had to go to this church camp or whatever, right? And all my life, I always told God, like, I want to influence people. I want to teach somebody something that I went through so that they don't have to go through it. I want you to use me, okay? And God, there's this one, the story is so miraculous, it's crazy. So I don't even know the time frame. So let's say the first 3 months. So let's say there's no time frame. I'm gonna just say point A. So point A, one day I was praying and I was fasting, and God was telling me this story about Abraham in a different light, in a totally different way. And then fast forward some time or whatever, God, he sort of sent me on top of this mountain to this church camp. And I was like, at first, to be honest, I really did not want to go, because I was just like, that's not my type of party. That's not my type of hype. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? And then, long story short, on the top of that mountain, God did something for me that I always wanted to do. Like, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous. But he gave me a lesson to teach, and we were supposed to stand up in front of a whole bunch of people with 5 minutes. And, you know, God let me go last because, you know, I went the longest, right? And when I stood up there, I was like, God, this is really going to have to be you.
A lot of people have been dealing with confusion, and there's a difference between confusion and not understanding. Confusion has no purpose at all. It's okay to not understand, because God will tell you things in life that you will not understand. Not understanding is unrevealed knowledge.
God really transformed my life, and I spoke in front of 100 people, over 100 kids, over 100 teenagers. And that changed my life, because I was like, God, like, you really did that. And it was crazy, because before I stood up there, I was like, God, I don't even know how I'm going to start it off. I don't even know how I'm going to do this. So many things was going through my head. And then before worship, God had, you know, told me how to do the intro. I was like, okay, God, you know what I'm saying? So this was the highlight of one of the best things that I've done so far.
And this is what Abraham said that shook my world. 3 words. Here am I. And let me tell you why. Because when you pick God's word before what you want, he will give you everything you want and everything you need and everything you've been praying for and everything you've been questioning. And so there's just a lot of things that you guys have been asking God for. And the thing where it says, here I am, you guys have expectations and you're in the right environment. So when you're up here and you're praising, the question that you guys need to turn to and ask your neighbor is, what is God telling you to expect? Y'all want things, but God, every He really chosen me. Yes, God wants you to be blessed. Yes, God wants you to be rich. Yes, you are supposed to exceed. You are His chosen generation. So I guess to end it, I just want you guys to keep in your heart. You know, everybody wants to go somewhere. Everybody wants to be somewhere big. Everybody has humongous dreams and desires. But what is God telling you right now? Who is He telling you to talk to right now? Who is He telling you to touch and whisper to? Because everything that you do plays a big part of the picture that He has. And just because you don't understand, don't mean that it don't make sense. It's under real knowledge.
That I did hear God say, like, oh, you thought that was something? Forget about that. I have even greater plans for you. I have even greater things for you to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, God, hold up. That was the highlight of my summer right there. You really used me in a magnificent way. Like, we had the, you know what I'm saying? Without God, I wouldn't have been able to do that. But that just goes to show that sometimes God will put you in a position to let you know, like, this is what you're meant to do. Like, you can do this. People with high titles and high positions, or people who are placed above you, who are placed to be authority over you, they're not perfect. So don't hold them to the highest expectations, and when you do get disappointed, just forgive them. It's easier said than done, but it's not impossible. Anytime you gossip, you hinder yourself. You have the nerve to be speaking down on somebody else. You're not perfect. Nobody here is perfect. You know what I'm saying? And even if whatever you talking about may be facts, they probably even deserve it. They probably talk about you 24/7. But at the end of the day, if your mouth is cursing somebody else, how you gonna expect to be blessed? Like, seriously, put that together. If you're talking about somebody, you got your mouth on somebody else, how you gonna expect God to bless you? Like, that just don't make sense. And gossiping don't do nothing for you. Yeah. Your mistakes do not define you unless you allow them to. And growing up, when you're between the stages 16, 17, 18, 19, it is true. Everything that you do will affect you in the future. And sometimes, personally, I feel like when I make mistakes, like, they linger on me for a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll be like, okay, God has forgiven me. I forgive myself. I'm ready to move on. But then, you know, you always got family members who bring stuff up, friends who won't let stuff go. And sometimes it's even hard to forgive yourself. But you need to understand that every day God wakes you up, that's a new breath. That's a new day. That's a fresh start. And there are scriptures in the Bible of people who had a horrible past and their life did a full 360. Paul in the Bible was killing folks for believing in God, and his life did a full 360. And people didn't even trust him or nothing like that. But it doesn't matter, because as long as you know that you're a changed person, that's all that matters. You can bounce back from your mistakes, period. You just gotta let go and let God. And the more you try to strain people and bring people with you, you only hinder yourself. Because God is saying, no, this is me and you. This is me and you. This is not me, you, Gabriella, Tyrone. Like, no, this is me and you. Your relationship with God is you and him. You know what I'm saying? How much you talk to him, that's between you and him. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody... You can't fake a relationship with God. You just can't do it. Like, you can't fake a relationship with God. And that's the one thing that I can say I truly learned in 2020. When you let go and you let God, he becomes your best friend. Like, for real. And you tell your best friend everything. And I used to be the type of person where I used to think, like, oh, I can only pray to God by saying, like, oh, Holy Father this, oh, Holy Father that. But when you realize that you can talk to God like how you talk to anybody else, how you talk to your friend or whatever, then God really does become your best friend. God, when you see God taking care of you the way you thought only your husband could, or the only way you thought your boyfriend could, it's like, wow, God, you really are every single title. You're really everything that I need in my life. Like, financially, all of that. Like, when you put your trust in God and pray to him, he will come through. And even during the moments where you be like, God, I don't know about this, he always come through. Even the moments where I feel like I financially was not there, even the moments where I didn't have money to get my nails done, God would somehow, he would come up with the money. He would teach me how to budget. Even when I didn't have money, I don't want to say when I didn't have money for food, but like when I was balling on a budget for food, God showed me how to clip some coupons. I was like, oh shoot, this was booming. Like, God, if you allow him to, if you open yourself up to God and don't put him in a box, let him dabble in everything you do, man, your whole life gonna change. And I'll put that on anything. That's why you gotta let go of God. Like, you gotta let him be your social life, and he gonna connect you with the right people. You gotta let God be your career, and you gonna see him elevate. You gotta let God be I don't know. Oh, you gotta let God be your stylist. He gonna hook you up. Like, he's everything and some more. I remember when I was in high school, I didn't have no shoes when I first started freshman year. Like, I used to wear these black dusty Guess shoes because I just did not have no shoes, and my mama did not want to buy me no shoes. I kept telling her I need shoes before I need clothes, because you know everybody got a floss, you know what I'm saying? So I kept praying to God. I said, please let the top of my bed just fill up with a whole bunch of shoes. And boom, that's exactly what he did. Like, God really hooked me up, and he always does it on his own time and in his own way. God will always come through. That's why sometimes you got to let go of the things that you think you're in control of and say, here, God. Because when you place it in God's hand, when you place it in the hand of the creator, it's done and it's over with. Even situations that you be so concerned about, when you place it in the hand of the creator, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. Even with people who give you trouble, even with people who worry you, when you say, look, God, me personally, I don't know how to handle this situation, because if I handle this situation, it's not gonna turn out right. I'm gonna say something, I don't want to speak my mind. God, I want you to step in. The moment God steps in, the game is over. I promise you. The game is over. It's over. And sometimes it may seem like, God, you taking a little bit too long to get the situation fixed out. God, he has surprised me so many times in life where I was like, dang, God, like, you really came through on that one. Like, everything, even when I was insecure, even the littlest stuff, God even cares about the littlest stuff. I remember one day, there was this one boy who I had stopped talking to one day or whatever. Like, we had broken up, so-called, or whatever. I never said we was together, but you know, something like that. And I was in a hallway, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be the bigger person. And I said hi to him, right? He ignored me. And God, oh my gosh, that bothered me so much. That bothered me. I was so bothered. But I didn't show it, because I had, like, you know, I had my poker face on. Like, you couldn't tell I was bothered, but I was so bothered. So I kept talking to God about it. I was like, God, really? He gonna play me? He not gonna say hi to me? He should be glad that I even spoke to him, because like he not, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't got nothing to do. Like I was like, he should be glad I even come out of my day to say hi to him, because I don't even talk to people like that. So yeah, okay, I see what we doing here. Like you're not even on my level, but I spoke to you and you ignored me. So then I just kept praying to God about it. I was like, God, please help me to let go. Please help me to let go. Please help me to let go. I was just like, come on, God, please help me. And let me tell you, 3 days later, woo! 3 days later, it was on a Friday. We had a little assembly, right? We had a little assembly. And